Hi, welcome to the Truth of Tal Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 114 coming at you tonight. Detroit basketball, NBA top storylines, and your Detroit Lions. Sounds good?
Yes.
Okay, if you're listening to us, awesome, thank you very much. If you're watching us, you're welcome for the entertainment. Folks, just so you know, this is a couple of days after Halloween, so Isaac and I have sweet masks on. So you should probably just check us out on YouTube. You're welcome to comment if you like. Off the top, it's a great time of the year sports. Obviously, Major League Baseball just finished last night, but when all four leagues are rolling, that's fun. That's when it's good to be in the lab and all three games and stuff are working. U of M Spygate stuff, it's getting a little too much national headlines. It's not great. Listen, nothing is going to happen to Michigan this year, but there's going to be some stuff that happens in the offseason.
Honestly, I don't really care. I'm not focused on that. It's the NCAA out to get Harbaugh. It's the corrupt world of college football. It is what it is. There's a lot of issues with college football.
NCAA are a joke. And is this the bad one? They have some dork who sits on the sidelines and records. This is a 1988 rule when there was hardly any film and scouting. Now everybody has 100 different angles. It's stupid. I think it's people picking on Michigan. If Michigan was, 4-4, nobody would care.
Or if Michigan wasn't Michigan and they didn't have Harbaugh. I will say the NCAA and the Big Ten should have bigger, more controversial issues that they should spend their time on rather than this, and I will leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. World Series baseball did not like Texas, Arizona playing in it. Ratings, were terrible. We watched a few minutes here or there.
It was just like, if I have Hornets Pacers on in World Series Game 3, honestly, I was watching Hornets Pacers. I was more tuned in, and I understand that's like, I recognize that that's kind of crazy, but it's just like, I didn't really have any weight in this World Series, unfortunately.
And Scherzer got dinged up, so he didn't really pay as much attention, but he got a ring. Good for him. Rangers win it. Nice. Hopefully Tigers do good things with their money in the offseason.
They don't have to. Just stop. Move on.
They don't have...
No, actually, for real. Stop. The Tigers don't have money, and they're not going to spend it
They have money.
Okay, they're going to spend it
Old
on
man
me.
Illich is going to say, spend the money, kid.
Okay, talk about something else.
Okay, Red Wings are actually pretty decent, right? They've got a great twosome in Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat. They're going to make the playoffs. They're fun to watch. They're a good team.
Yeah, I'm going tonight. Wings game, fired up. They're fun. I've talked to other hockey guys, and kind of bias aside, like Leafs fans and all these other fans are saying the Wings are just like objectively a very fun team to watch.
Yep.
They're very fast. They've got a lot of really fun players, and they're the Wings, so they're my guys. So I'm rooting for them. I will be more tuned in this year, and it's good to have hockey back because of the Wings.
Okay, our next episode, you'll give us a bit of a Wings update. What the fans are like.
Yeah, it's a very different crowd than the Pistons
very
games.
different crowd than the Pistons games.
Actually, I'll touch on that.
Sure, go
briefly.
ahead.
So we're gonna. Do you have anything else, or can we talk about the Pistons now?
We're talking about the Pistons.
Okay, so this will segue to the Pistons here. So we went to opening night versus the Chicago Bulls. We went separately.
Isaac went with half cousin Braden, and I went with Daniela.
Yep. So we kind of met up. We did sit in different seats.
Very different seats.
There's 4 people going, 2 sets of 2. Let's say the set I was in, Brandon and I myself, perhaps ended up in some good seats.
Did the Val Isaiah maneuvers.
Perhaps. Okay, so that aside, here's why I want to talk about the different crowds. So we went to the Pistons game, and then after the Pistons game, and also before, there was Jerry Seinfeld shows. So Jerry Seinfeld had a 7 p.m. and a 10 p.m. show. And I'll just say, as we left the Pistons game and walked towards the Jerry Seinfeld show, we didn't really belong with the folks going to see Jerry Seinfeld.
Nope.
We've got jerseys where we have the free shirts that are wrapped all over our body, and then you've got these people in nice clothes going to see the nice Jerry Seinfeld show.
Jerry Seinfeld, 45 to 70-year-olds, white folks with blue suits,
Collars,
white collared shirt, and penny loafers.
Yep, and Uncle Phil.
All of them.
But yeah, so we're just buzzing from the game, playing rap, running to our car.
And shout out Uncle Phil and Jeff.
Yeah, and their other buddy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that different crowds in Detroit, very funny.
Yeah, but opening night at LCA, it was hopping. It was loud and it was fun.
Don't say hopping.
Hopping?
Neither really. Just say it was good.
Either of them are good. It was good. I wrote down the Detroit Pistons are a fun and exciting team, entertaining to watch. Listen, they're still not going to win a ton of games. The pieces don't all fit, but you're starting to see it come together. And again, they're entertaining. They try hard. They try hard on D. They seem to want to dunk a lot, which is entertaining. Do you want to break this down a little bit, talk about the Pistons?
Yeah, sure. As for opening night, it was a great atmosphere. I was there last year opening night. And I'll be honest, I thought last year's opening night, the crowd was a little more electric. Maybe I'm mistaken. But a large in part because Isaiah Stewart hit the game-clinching 3 in the final seconds of that game in the corner.
That's right.
And this was like the first time, like, whoa, could he shoot threes? And he hit one in the corner, and it was a really big deal. So that kind of moment is what sticks out to me about last year's opening night. Whereas the crowd on Saturday night, it was a great crowd. It really was.
I was upper deck, and it was loud up there.
Good, and it was louder in the lower deck too. But elite vibes at the Pistons game. I will talk about last night. So I saw the Blazers in town. So I went to the Blazers game. This is a Wednesday night in November. This is the first Wednesday in November. Not exactly a sellout, but as the game went on, seats filled up.
Like 2/3 full, maybe?
Yeah, 3/4. Yeah. And then that's a good thing because, people aren't going to the suites, that they have suite tickets. So we kind of made our way to the suite section, like SUITE suite. And then kind of went in like the sideline stretch where you're not really allowed to be and kind of sat there for a while.
Really?
Yeah, that's
dangerous. They don't like you to let you go in
No,
there.
because you kind of got to go over kind of a railing and walk by people. It's really, it's hard to pull off.
It is hard to pull off. And if you do it by accident or if you get caught, they scream and yell at you.
Yeah,
So you can pretty much walk onto the floor and you're okay. But if you're going to that section, that's not allowed.
So we saw from really good seats. We'll talk about Scoot and the Blazers. Like I'm going to talk about them a little later. But you can talk about the Pistons roster itself.
Sure.
I know you want to talk about it.
We're going to break down the Pistons roster a little bit. Cade is the man, and he's starting to show more and more that he's the man. Yes, he has some turnovers. Well, guess what? If I'm double team and my choice is to throw it to Killian Hayes.
Let's be nice.
We do not need to be nice to Killian Hayes.
I'm still going to be nice to him.
Okay, good for you. And I love Thompson, and he's going to be great. But right now, he's not super confident in his shot. So obviously, Cade is having to make some decisions while he's being double teamed. They're not always great. But I would rather try and make the play, try and push it. Cade's going to be awesome. I love the fact that he's hitting some threes. People are going to start to realize, okay, Cade's man, he's probably not going to be an all-star this year, but he is a future all-star. Love how he works with Duren, because they really didn't get a lot of time to play together. Duren's a beast, and the NBA is starting to realize. The third starter that I'm very confident in is Asor Thompson. He is already an elite-level defender, good rebounder. Like pros, like guys, they want to be switched off Thompson. They don't want him in his grill. Like SGA was saying, get this guy off me. Beast2, you like what Beast2 is doing so far, eh?
I'm very happy.
Talk about the Beast2 and the metrics, because that was good analysis that you gave me the other day.
I don't even know what you're referring to be honest, with the metrics.
Defensive metrics, his ability to switch.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure, switchability. So I really like Isaiah Stewart. Like, not just because he'll fight LeBron and he'll fight anybody. Like, I don't know if you saw the clip of him very calmly asking Brandon Miller to fight outside. There's like I'll show you the clip.
Yeah, I saw it.
Like, during the scuffle, it kind of cuts Isaiah Stewart, and they're separated at this point. But he's just like, want to go outside, bro? But he's like putting his fist up, like, very calmly, asking if, like, just like, hey, after the game, I want to just go outside.
Hey, you want to grab a coffee afterwards? Or you just want to go outside and I'm going to pummel you like a rag doll?
So I love Isaiah Stewart. And then when you look at, he can play power forward. The stats say he can play power forward. I get the eye test doesn't. I understand that.
I wasn't sure about if he is the fourth starter on a playoff team.
We're not in the playoffs yet, bro.
No, but I think in 2 years when we're a competitive team and we add another two who can really score, I think Stu could be that guy.
I don't know if Stewart's a long-term starter. I'm really glad they extended him, but his switchability is what I was telling you about.
Yeah.
He can guard guards incredibly well. And again, the eye test, I understand it doesn't look pretty because he gets super low and he really overly extends one arm, but he is excellent on perimeter.
He moves his feet well for a big dude.
He's really, really good, and he doesn't have a massive wingspan. He's not a crazy athlete, but he moves his feet great, like you said, and all the advanced metrics show like he is in the elite upper percentile for bigs guarding guards. And again, it doesn't look like that, and players clearly don't know that because they hunt him. Guards hunt Isaiah Stewart, and Isaiah Stewart welcomes that challenge. I'm even okay with Duren on the perimeter sometimes just because he's that good of an athlete.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's my Isaiah Stewart bit. I love him. I'm a big fan.
Burks is a bucket. Get him the ball.
Yeah, Burks is just a walking bucket. That man just walks and gets buckets. That's what he does.
Who's going to be traded first? Burks or Bojan?
I don't know. The thing with Bojan is, like, he won us a lot of games last year. Like, we lose a ton more games if he isn't as good as he was.
I agree.
And the fact that he's just kind of an afterthought now and he's just purely a trade piece.
He's still a scorer. You can put him on any team, and he's a 21-point-a-game scorer with a below average D.
I'd like to see him on
you put him on
team.
Dallas. You put him on New York, one of those teams that need a third scorer. He's that guy for sure.
Yeah, you think you'd be able to get at least a first-round pick for him.
I would hope so.
Depending on kind of all the protections. We'll talk about what Harden returned. But yeah, I would assume one of Bogdanovic or Burks goes, but we know Weaver is very, very hesitant and reluctant to move off of his guys. Bogdanovic is one of those guys now because he extended him. And I think Burks he values incredibly highly as a good veteran scorer, kind of what he wanted Corey Joseph to be, which he was not. So I hope we get something from them, but I don't know if they'll both go.
Okay, a couple other things about the Pistons. Killian, I know you're still a supporter of him for some reason.
I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
Okay, in 2 more weeks, maybe 2.5, he's virtually never going to see the floor.
Okay.
Morris is coming back. They're just going to say, okay, enough. It's not working.
Okay, so what jersey does Killian Hayes wear? What jersey?
What team is he going to end up on?
What jersey does he, when he goes to work, what jersey does he put on?
Pistons.
I will support him as long as he's wearing a Pistons
jersey.
Okay,
I'm down with that.
It's as simple as that. Look, like, I hated the pick at the time. I've hated it for 2.5 years. I'm just saying that. But as long as he's a Piston, I'm going to root for him to be good. I have no ill will against him. I just want him to be good or average or serviceable. And unfortunately, he's a starter and he's one of the worst players in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's simple. Like, the stats all say that.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Marvin Bagley? Marvin is pretty decent down low.
I wrote down, so he started because Duran was injured. Bagley's been really good this year, but man, he gets a lot of touches. It's a little too many touches. Watching him and Ayton just punch jabs last night where it's just like, I'm going to do a jump hook. No, I'm going to do a jump hook. I'm going to do a jump hook. It was very frustrating, but I like what Bagley
It's a little bit funny because Ayton a couple years ago, people were like, oh man, he's a cornerstone. And now he's comparable to Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, look, Ayton's still a lot better, but like he scored 10 points a couple nights ago.
Not a ton better.
I'm not a big Ayton guy. Dominating, not a big fan. Well, you talked about the roster. It's an incredibly likable roster.
Yes.
There are only 2 individuals on this roster that I dislike. And I won't say the names, but you said one of them, and then the other one is another left-handed guy.
He was a very high draft pick.
Yep, and we'll leave it at that because I have no ill will against him as he's a Piston. But man, like they've got 2 guys that are just
he's the 4th big man.
They're just terrible. They have 2 guys. You talk about Duran. I love Duran so much. I get a lot of takes wrong. I get a lot right, respectfully. Being big on Duran while he was in Memphis, pre-draft, saying like this guy's awesome, and then he's a Piston, and then he's awesome, and now he's this. You talk about the national media hype. You're seeing the Duran stats and the Duran records that he's putting up. Really, really great to see. I'm so in on Duran as much as I am in on Cade, if that makes sense.
Yep, I agree.
What else, Jeff?
You really like Sasser, too.
Love Sasser. Liked him out of the draft. There's a slight reach.
He's a guy you're going to bring off the bench on a good team, and he'll get you buckets, and he'll be entertaining.
Yeah, he's just an on-ball pest, and he's a smart player. And as yesterday when we were watching the game, I'm like, you know what? Because he had a lot of touches down the stretch. I'm like, I trust him with the rock. I trust him with the ball to make good decisions. He's a good assist guy, too. And he can shoot threes. He hasn't a ton, but he can shoot threes. It's a nice stroke. So there's my bit on Sasser. We talked about Hayes. We talked about Wiseman. I don't love the roster construction in terms of like all these goofy bigs.
And I think they know that. They're just trying to see what works and what doesn't work together.
Yep. I'll tell you what doesn't work. 4 guys that can't shoot in Cade. That usually doesn't work.
No, that's terrible.
So the spacing thing bothers me. But nonetheless, extrememely fun to watch. Very easy to root for. Go to the park and just root for the guys. Super easy to do that.
Can you tell me what's up with Ivy, please?
Yeah.
Because the sports talk guys don't get it. I certainly don't get it.
His dad retweeted some things last night.
I saw that.
Yeah. And I took a couple pictures that I'll show you. So when I go to games, I like to just overanalyze the heck out of both sidelines, both benches.
Yeah.
Including the Pistons, obviously.
Sure.
Hayes is always like last guy on the bench, very despondent, always got his hoodie on. Same with James Wiseman. Golly, unbelievable.
What about Ivy?
That's where I'm going. Ivy last night was visibly upset towards the end when Sasser was getting those minutes.
Yeah.
And Sasser was great, but also Joe Harris was getting those minutes because he was playing really well yesterday too.
Joe Harris can play.
And he was playing really good yesterday.
Yeah.
So Ivy didn't really have a spot, especially against Portland. But he's getting frustrated. I get it. It's kind of going into this year. It was like
Great.
Caden
Then work
Ivey.
hard, play better D, don't have stupid turnovers, and finish when you're around the rim.
Yeah, I agree with you. I still really like Ivy, and I still love when
Me too.
he checks in.
He's one of the fastest guys on the floor. I think his long-term role is as a sixth man.
I don't know. It's too early to say that. It's as simple as Ivy sees a guy who's inferior to him in every way, and Killian Hayes getting more minutes than him, and that's why he's pissed
I'd
off.
be frustrated at that, but I would recognize that. Listen, Sasser is beating you out for those reserve minutes, so you need to earn those back.
Yep, and then Monte Morris is gonna also shake things up here. So
Exactly. Monte Morris is going to kick Killian to the curb. Hopefully it doesn't take more of Ivy's minutes away.
Respectfully.
Okay, go see your Detroit Pistons. Support them. They're our team. Going to work. Let's NBA. A couple weeks into the season. Let's just talk about a few top storylines. Each of us made up some lists independently. Listen, I think the number one topic has to be Victor the Great. He's so much fun to watch. He just does things that have never been done, and I know it was all hype. It's the truth. He just does stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, how is that possible?
So your Wemby experience has just been through highlights in
Correct.
social media, right?
Yep, I really haven't been able to watch any games with him.
And that's because he plays at 10 p.m. every night. So while my
Yes, I think our fans might recognize that. I go to bed at 10.
So,
Sometimes 10:15.
I have sacrificed my sleep schedule a bit to watch some Spurs tape because I loved Wemby when everyone else kind of started to love him. And then pretty quickly I'm just like all in. I bought a jersey like super early. Just like
I'm assuming you saw his Halloween costume?
yeah, it's great
Slender Man.
self-awareness.
It's awesome.
Great self-awareness. So I just Wemby must-see TV. I'm fascinated by him. He is a genius. You have to listen to interviews with him.
He's a smart dude.
I wrote down, I like listening to him getting interviewed just as much as I like watching him play. He is so smart. He's so self-aware. He's very funny. He's super cool, but he's humble, and he's just always
The
reserved.
Star Wars stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah, he likes Star Wars.
If you're a Star Wars fan and you like basketball, even if you don't like basketball, just Google Victor Wembanyama Star Wars.
He's so cool, and he just always says the right things. And sometimes you can see guys saying the right things, and you're like, okay, that's just coach speak.
And he's a year younger than you.
Yep, that's just coach speak. My point is, when Wemby says stuff, it's genuine. And it's super authentic, and I buy it. He does stuff, like you said, we've never seen. Go watch Wemby all the time.
This isn't a separate one, but this is kind of tied to it. Chet Holmgren is going to do some cool stuff this year, and people should not forget about Chet.
I wrote down kind of early rookie thoughts. So Chet's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Perfect for this Thunder team, lighting it up from deep, right? Like he's 52% from three on pretty high usage. But he's 16, 7, and 3. Really, really good rim protector. Fun to watch.
The 3 are blocks?
Yes.
Okay.
Thoughts on the Chet beard, though?
It's terrible, but I'm not a beard guy, right? Like cousin Colin, who is our family and we love him.
Be careful.
He doesn't have a nice beard.
Yes, he does. I got you, Colin.
No, he doesn't. He looks like Chet, and I don't think that's a compliment to either Chet or Colin.
Colin's my guy. I like your beard, Colin.
I don't.
Okay, stop hating. We'll talk Scoot here. He's still figuring things out. He's in an awful situation in Portland. He got injured last night in Detroit, so we didn't get to watch him close. I'm a big fan of his, even though he has not looked great. I recognize that. He carries himself in a very, very chill way pregame. I watched him warm up. Warms up kind of like how Steph warms up. Lots of smiling, lots of goofing around. The layups, the underhand layups where he tried to hit the ceiling and go in. He just did that and shot threes. That's all he did to warm up. Very chill, but like he's got
How
it.
could he shoot? It was a stroke.
It looked fine. It looked
Yeah.
fine. He hasn't been, I understand, like he's hit like 1-3 on a ton of attempts. But I like Scoot still. And then Brandon Miller. Have you caught any of Brandon Miller?
Almost none.
Okay, do you know what he's doing at all or no?
Nope.
He's been really awesome. Charlotte
Really?
is a really tough watch, other than Brandon Miller and my guy Mark Williams. But Brandon Miller, like he's 16 points a game on 46% from the field.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And like, right, like we saw a bit of it at
In
Bama.
my mind, I want to say that Oscar Thompson is going to be the second best rookie of that class.
He's like the 5th, bro. If he can learn to shoot. And okay,
He'll be the 4th because he's better than his brother.
Do you have any more thoughts on Asar? Those are some of my rookie stuff.
Nope.
But, okay, I'd like Asar to just, I like the defensive stuff, but there's some issues there. Okay, keep going. What else do you have?
So the Harden trade drama, just ridiculous. Like James Harden has shown now about 4 times in his career, okay, I'm done. And then teams have no choice but to trade for him. The Clippers were negotiating with themselves because nobody else wanted him.
4 times he said, I'm done. I was just counting. 4 times he said, I'm done.
Yep. So, listen, I think he's going to probably be pretty decent for a couple of months. He's going to try hard. He probably might even take a slightly lesser role. But Kawhi and PG are guys who play pretty well with the ball in their hands. Westbrook can only play with the ball in his hands. So Westbrook's going to have to go down to almost no usage, which will be terrible. So I think what's happening is Clippers are going to be okay for 2 or 3 months, and then it's going to be awful. And sorry, Clippers, you 4 years, you've screwed things up. You're going to screw things up even more. Boo, Clippers.
Yeah, I didn't write anything down because I knew you were going to want to talk about it. It's an overpay simply because there was no market. So if you buy something and there's no market, it's an overpay regardless of what you pay. They gave up the 2028 unprotected first-round pick, which is going to be a valuable pick.
They're going to be a top 4 pick probably.
Yeah, so that's a good asset that Philly got. So Philly got some assets. Look, it's going to happen where Harden's going to have like a 16-assist game, and they're going to blow out
He's the MVP Harden of old.
No. Like they're gonna blow out a Midwestern Conference team, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, the Clippers!"
Yeah,
and I'm not buying it.
Memphis without.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not buying in the Clippers at all. I don't know the Philly side of this. I don't know. It's
I kind of did some reading. Basically, Philly wants to gain enough assets to either trade for that next superstar who's going to whine, or get somebody next offseason. And the money in the offseason hasn't shown to work out well, but they might have enough assets to trade for whichever, maybe DeJounte Murray. I don't know who's somebody who could fit in next to Embiid.
And Maxey, that's the issue.
And Tyrone Maxey.
Tyrone Maxey? Come on, bruh.
Sorry, what's his name?
Tyrese. That's just bad. There's just no excuse for that.
Actually, I don't think that's terrible. Fans, get my back on it. That's not bad.
There's no Tyrone in the NBA. Right, so that's just completely fabricated. So
I'm gonna go on a limb and say there is a Tyrone in the NBA.
Come on,
I'm gonna do some research.
Okay,
Dale, can you please look that up and tell me?
The next guy. Look,
hashtag Team Tal Nation.
Philly's in shambles. I don't really know what the goal is. I don't know. Like Levine is gonna be upset soon. Jimmy's already planting seeds.
Bucket! Oh my gosh! Did he ever score against the Pistons?
Levine scored 51 with no assists, and we saw it, and it was so funny because we were at 30 points. We were like, "Hey, he's got no assists, so let's just lean into this."
Yes.
So then that led us to NBA players with the most points and no assists. Guess who was number 1? It's pretty easy once you get it. So,
Shaq?
Wilt.
Oh, Wilt. Okay.
And the record is out of the top 20 guys, 17 of them are Wilt. It's really funny.
Okay.
But yeah, he had 68 points with no assists. Wilt did.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so what else do you have on the Harden trade? Is that it?
That's it.
All right. What else do you have?
Super teams.
Okay, go ahead.
I think there's probably 2, maybe 3 examples of super teams, and how we think that's going to play out. Phoenix, I don't know. They're all injured, so who knows, right? They've got talent, but Phoenix's risk was you've got Durant, who's had some injury issues. Booker, who really hasn't had many injury issues, but he's dinged up. And Bradley Beal. Those 3 haven't played together, have they?
No.
So I don't think it's going to work out well for Phoenix, even though KD is awesome. Although KD's mom almost went on the floor the other day when he got double teamed and they lost at the end.
I watched that. Yeah,
that was actually pretty cool.
They kept cutting to her.
Yep.
I don't know. Okay, what else? Super teams. Everything?
Golden State. Have you been able to watch any of them? Obviously, it's late. I haven't seen any Golden State.
Yes, I have watched some Golden State. Name a team, and I've watched too much of them at this point, to be totally honest.
How's CP3 working in?
I actually like it. I love him off the bench. I don't love him starting, but I love him off the bench.
Is he coming off the bench now?
Yeah, you should know that, bro. Casual.
Okay. Yes, I'm a bit busy, okay? Clippers, don't even want to talk about the Clippers. We've already given them too much attention. And Boston is the last super team. They scored about 700 points last night. They've looked pretty solid, but Holiday hasn't looked great.
I want to wrap. What did you just skip? Okay, super teams. I don't even know how you're defining super teams. So
super teams that kind of have 3 stars, or teams trying to just jack up with super teams.
Okay, I will talk about the Celtics later on. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I have nothing else on super teams.
Okay, any other points that you'd like to address?
Yeah. How good is Denver?
I will talk about Denver later, actually, as well, in my Boston conversation.
Okay. What's the deal with Miami?
I didn't write anything down on that. I'm not prepared to release a statement. I will say Jimmy's as upset as I've seen him in like 5 years.
He's got to be super upset because they did nothing. He liked Strus. He's getting buckets. Gabe Vincent he liked.
Vincent's been terrible.
He's not so good.
Yeah,
but
he's playing next to LeBron, so it's fingers.
And LeBron is just kind of saying, "Oh, I'm going to play 45 minutes. I'm going to score as much as I want." And by February, he's going to be walking with a cane.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the Lakers now. I'm not ready to talk about Jimmy, other than he's for real upset.
Okay.
So the Lakers, I don't think they're legit. I don't think they're a contender.
I don't think they're legit either.
There's a lot of buzz going into this year about like, hey, the Lakers are going to be good. It's a lot of guys playing ISO. They're poorly coached. They don't play defense transition. They're overly reliant on 39-year-old LeBron. Overly reliant on the refs. I will say Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know what the odds are on that, but like that seems likely.
Be good.
It depends on how many games he plays. And Taurean Prince has been great. Those are the two kind of positives I have.
But isn't he dinged up too?
Yeah, but he's the man. He'll be good.
Okay.
Reeves has not been good. Gabe Vincent has not been good.
Reeves isn't that good.
I think Reeves is a very good player.
I know. I don't think he is.
Okay. We'll see.
He's a borderline starter on a playoff team.
You think he's like a fifth guy on a playoff team? I don't.
Yes, I think he's the fifth guy on a playoff team.
Okay, I think you got to watch a little more Reeves. I'm going to send you some stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
I like Reeves. Malcolm Brogdon is going to be a Laker, putting that out there right now. It's November 2nd.
He's not doing much right now, is he?
He's going to be wearing a Laker jersey. Just remember that and remember me saying that. It's going to happen. Guys like Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, D'Angelo Russell, they're just guys that aren't easy to play with, that nobody really wants. I don't love this.
I don't see how those pieces fit.
The second unit is terrible. LeBron, like at this point, he is injury prone in the past few years, and it's not a knock. He's 30 now. Like the minutes on this guy, it's like
the most minutes of anybody in the history of the league, more than Kareem.
Did he? Yeah, he was just gonna pass Kareem, or that's happening soon, or he already did. Like it's right there. It's I don't love this Lakers team. All right. What else? Because I have some bits here.
You go.
Is Ben Simmons an NBA player again?
Yes.
Good. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Really? Why?
Because I liked him like 4 years ago.
I did like him, but he's been such a baby the last couple of years. I'm like, I don't think he's allowed to come out of timeout yet. I don't think he's proven his worth. I probably starting to prove his worth. I don't think Ben Simmons deserves to be a real NBA player, but he is.
He's like he kind of got like completely benched out of the rotation because he was just awful towards the end of last year. This year, 34 minutes a game, 7 points, 10 boards, 8 assists. Like he looks good. He still can't shoot. He's still not really guarded. But I really have liked what I've seen.
He can lead a break. He can play D. He can board.
Okay, another one. Talk about Luka Doncic. I know you wanted. Did you write it down? Because I knew you wanted to.
I did not actually write it down. I knew you'd talk about Luka.
Okay, well I'm letting you, bro.
He's the man. Like he's just such an unusual player, but he gets the spot that he wants to, and man, does he hit shots. I don't know if it's going to translate to winning. I don't think it's going to translate to winning the playoffs because the second best player on the team is Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie is going to get a hangnail, and it'll be the biggest problem in the world. And then the next game, he'll score 45. Oh, but then the hangnail problem will come up again.
You talking about, the Mavs winning. They're 4-0. They're first in the West.
I know, I don't care. Right, but that's because of Luka. But he can't keep that up forever. He just doesn't have enough support. But he might be the MVP.
34, 11, and 10 right now. 51% from the field. 42% from three on crazy high usage.
And crazy tough shots.
Oh, yeah. It's always
stepping back 5 feet behind the 3-point line with a guy in his grill.
Two guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Luka's been awesome. I still, this is not winning basketball playoff wise. Like these high usage guys, the Hardens, the Lukas, the Westbrooks, they don't win playoff series.
Very rarely.
But I'm still rooting for Luka. I like Luka.
Yeah.
Can I have one more bit? And it's my NBA Finals prediction, which you're reading right now. Do you have an NBA Final? Actually, no, because you just read mine, so I'll say mine.
Well, Nuggets.
I have Celtics over Nuggets.
I have Nuggets Bucks.
I have the Celtics beating the Nuggets.
Because I think the Celtics are going to implode just because they deserve to implode because they're Boston.
Okay.
There's not logic behind that. It's just anger.
No, there is logic behind it. Because the past 5 years, Boston's only shown us that they implode. That's all they've shown us.
And Jaylen Brown is going to get upset because he's not getting the usage that he wants consistently, so he's going to whine out.
So I have no reason to pick the Celtics in these based on the past few years.
Well, you can pick them because they have probably the most talent in the NBA.
I'll tell you why I'm going to pick them. The Nuggets won't repeat. It is too difficult to repeat in the NBA. It just doesn't happen enough. Phoenix might even win the West if they're healthy.
They've got the trump card.
So Denver's going to win it next year. They're not going to win it this year. They can't repeat. It's too difficult.
We'll see.
The Bucks first year figuring out this Dame fit, and some elements are great, some elements are not great.
It doesn't look great yet, but I think it's going to happen in the playoffs.
So you still think the Bucks can figure their stuff out by the end of the year and beat Boston?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Boston will implode. Boston's a better team, but they're going to have a problem.
The Sixers are about to lose the reigning MVP. Like, I don't know. Like, I never really thought Philly was going to be legit.
I heard he's going to Detroit. Did you hear that?
Stop. We have enough centers. The Heat are a joke. I wrote down the Heat are just a joke.
That's sad.
When you talk about the Celtics, they're 29th in passes per game right now and 27th in assist percentage.
That's very interesting.
It's a lot of ISO, but like when they've got the guys they've got, like they're so deep, they're so talented.
Derek White should be a passer, should he not? But he's probably just doesn't get the ball enough.
Yeah, like when Jaylen Brown and Tatum just do their ISO stuff, there's not a ton of Derek White assist time.
Has Jaylen Brown gone to dribbling school yet, or he still missed that?
Celtics over Nuggets. It's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
It's the sad reality that I have now come to grips with.
All right. Anything else on the NBA?
No, it's real. I could talk about the NBA for so long.
We could talk about it for a long time. Thanks for basketball being back. Here's the thing about like football tonight is like Tennessee and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And that's a tough watch. But I don't care what NBA games are on. We would find some entertaining guys to watch.
Yeah, like there's always good basketball. I want to see every team, maybe except Houston. I don't really want to see. But I even want to watch Memphis. I want to watch Derrick Rose go and try to do something. And Desmond Bane's been good, but they're awful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you talk about the Lions.
I think we need to talk about the first place Detroit Lions a little bit. They're 6-2. It's an off week. Folks, they're in first place. At the beginning of this year, the goal was Detroit Lions host a home playoff game and win a home playoff game. That's the goal. I'm happy we're heading in that direction. There's a lot of good things, a lot of things to like about the Detroit Lions. I think we would be remiss if we did not mention the total dropped ball on the trade deadline.
I only wrote down stuff about the trade deadline, to be honest with you.
I got a couple. Let's just talk about a couple good things. Obviously, Goff has looked really solid. If he gets protection, he's great. If he doesn't, he's poop. Gibbs, he's looking good now. Hey, finally.
Legacy
Jahmyr
game.
Gibbs.
Monday night was his legacy game.
Great. Good for that. Couple guys on D that I did not expect a lot of. Aleem McNeil and Alex Anzalone. Wow, they're playing.
Old man Alex has looked good.
Stepping up. Like, honestly, beginning of last year, I wanted them to cut Alex Anzalone or become the fifth linebacker.
And I think I defended the signing just because I captain locker room guy, not because he was going to be good.
He might be all pro.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know if he will be. I would have to look at I don't know. Linebacker isn't super deep in the NFL, right? Like, there's a few awesome off-ball linebackers.
Correct.
And then there's a really big drop-off.
Yeah, it's a big drop. He's in the good one. How bad is Jimmy Garoppolo? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's there.
I felt sorry for him. He was just getting the crap kicked out of him.
I didn't, because now he's benched and he's still getting all that money.
Yeah, and then who's the Lions defensive coordinator?
Ben
Ben Johnson is the offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn.
Glenn.
He smelled blood in the water, and he said, I'm just going to keep blitzing. And give him credit. Poor, who's the wide receiver for the Raiders?
Devontae Adams.
So wide open, and ball was not even close to him. It was bad. Okay, we have to talk about the trade deadline.
Okay, yeah.
Big L.
Talk about Donovan Peoples-Jones, because I'm sure you're happy about it. Oh, I am.
I'm mildly happy about it. Like, I'm mildly happy that we're...
In a nutshell,
I like tacos better than Donovan Peoples-Jones.
No, okay, no, that's not. No, in a nutshell, you hear nothing else other than DPJ for a sixth. You're like, great.
Yeah, in a nutshell, he's to now become your third or your fourth wide receiver. Okay, that's good value.
So that's all I'm saying there. He's a good player. That was not my concern. Like, can he rush the passer?
No, as far as I can tell, I don't recall him playing defensive line or defensive back at the University of Michigan.
So there's a couple issues. The Lions didn't address their defense. That's kind of issue number one. And then issue number two is everybody around them recognized the urgency and recognized the market and made their defense better. So two issues. The Lions just said, you know what, we're not going to change our defense. Issue number two is everyone else was like, oh, there's pieces and we can upgrade here for good value. Let's do that. So that's what happened. And these are
when the Lions went with the Dan Campbell regime, they gave him 6 years, right? here's one of those things where that patience is actually hurting us, because I think a coach and the general manager that was a little more aggressive would have gone out and got somebody, right? Get Burns, get Chase Young, get somebody. But now they're like, oh, we're sticking to the plan. We're going to be patient. No, this is the year. Take advantage of it.
Oh, man, I don't think it has anything to do with Campbell.
Right? Probably not much to do with Campbell.
And I don't think it has to do with timeline. I think it has to do with Holmes' background. What's Holmes' background? He's a scouting guy. What does that mean? It means he values his picks higher than everybody else.
Yeah.
So he thinks and as he should, because he's made some excellent picks. Right? Like,
for sure.
Let's acknowledge that. But he values his future draft picks so highly.
Who's playing opposite Hutch?
Kaminsky, and
Okura, like those guys are just rotation guys.
I know. I'm just saying this is why. He's a scouting guy. He thinks his picks are it. He overvalues them. It's as simple as that. There's a sense of urgency with how open the NFC is. Honestly, the AFC's like we're not talking about that, but like
no, we're not going to talk about the AFC.
But there's no like team in the NFL where it's like it was. Oh, listen,
we thought San Francisco was, but now Purdy's just a guy.
He'll be okay.
I know you're a big Purdy guy. I'd rather have Goff than Purdy.
I would too.
And I'd probably I think I could probably pick 15 more quarterbacks that I'd have instead of Purdy this year.
Yeah, like if you're just saying like.
But this year's relevant. In football, you can't say, "Oh, future." No, go. The strike while the iron is hot.
No, but if you're just saying like Goff or Purdy, I'm taking Goff. But if you factor in their contracts and what Purdy's making,
separate deal.
The Niners
Goff
roster
doesn't make a ton.
No, but Purdy makes minimum wage, right? Like when you factor in the Niners are able to go and get Chase Young.
They can spend more money on Bosa and Chase Young and
like
McCaffrey
they could extend
and Debo.
They could extend Chase Young and be fine.
Yeah,
that's how good their cap situation because Purdy is just nothing. So do you want to talk about the Bears going after Sweat?
Yeah, let's please talk about. So the Bears decided, okay, we're going to give up a second round pick, go after Sweat, which maybe will make the difference between them winning 4 games or 5 games. Is that about it?
I was saying 5 and 6.
Okay, so close enough. So they're giving up basically a first round draft pick, but second round draft picks are even more valuable because the guys between 20 and 35. They're all very similar. It's team specific. Depends on scouting in a good game or two.
Sorry. So you just said second round picks are more valuable than first round picks?
Sorry, late first round picks and second round picks. I'd rather be picking at 35 than 28.
I agree with you there.
Unless it's a quarterback that you want to have the option to extend for a 5th year.
I agree. Yep, good take. Well done.
Good take. Thank you.
That was good.
Chicago's stupid. Like, have you read up as to why they decided to do this?
No, some Bears fans think their GM Poles is like the savior, where he's made a lot of moves. It's like, I don't know if that was the best move. Look, that helps the Lions. This removes the Bears from having 2 top 3 picks now.
Yep.
They're still gonna get like a top 3, either a quarterback or Marvin Harrison pick.
Yeah.
And then now they're gonna have like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Like they're gonna be in that bit there. So I like it. Just as a Lions fan, it was just a really stupid decision by Chicago. I don't like it because like Sweat could be wearing a Lions jersey on Sunday, right? So that bugs me.
Yep.
But like I'm fine with it in terms of division stuff.
Agreed. Anything else we want to talk about the Lions?
Yeah, they haven't looked awesome, I will say.
Well, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, no, they haven't looked awesome.
But like I'm saying on Monday, like there's a world where that's a 42-17 Lions win.
Yep.
And the fact that these games are close shows a couple things. It shows that they're far from playing their best football, which I'm okay with.
They're dinged up. They're not playing great, but that's okay. Good teams figure out a way to win.
That's where I'm going with this. They can win any type of game. They can win Goff's going to throw a pick 6 and we're going to fumble in the red zone and we're still going to win handily.
Yep.
And then they can win you know what? We're just going to give Jahmyr Gibbs 29 touches today. They can win those games. And then they can win Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's go for 14 catches today for you. They can win so many types of games, similar to Philly last year, where they could win a lot of games. I like that they're not playing their best football yet. They're not peaking too early, which is important. I think
realistically, who are they going to get back from injuries after they have to go to play the Chargers, right?
Yeah, they play the Chargers. They play the Chargers next. Again, it is in LA. So that will be a home game.
That'll be a home game for Detroit.
Correct.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that. And then Thanksgiving against Green Bay, which I kind of have my eyes set. I want to go.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but I'll figure it out and get in for a little cheaper maybe. But yeah, that's my next game I want to go to. So yeah, like you're talking about injuries, like guys were getting back. What do you mean?
Montgomery?
Yeah, like Monty, I would hope he's back. Marvin Jones is at home with his family, so I'll respect
No,
the Marvin.
DVP is Marvin Jones.
Uh,
Or Marvin Jones is DVP or whatever.
Who's DVP, bro?
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I don't think it's
DPJ?
Yeah, I think that's what
Who's
it was.
DVP?
You're mixing up with MVS, Marquez Valdez Scantling, I think.
No, there's a DVP somewhere. I don't
There's
know what
not, dude. Okay.
No?
That's all I got on the Lions. They're 6-2, and they're not playing their best football, and that's a good thing.
What's the goal? Home playoff victory.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else than that is bonus. If they do not have that home victory, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, we'll be in shambles, but that's okay.
You mean if they... No, let's not talk about that.
All right, bro.
Let's not talk about that.
All right.
Okay. Fans, we appreciate the support. By the way, there's some swag behind us. Christmas is coming up. We still have some swag. I've had a few people ask me for hats, so we should consider getting a few more hats.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. Doran, we got to figure it out and match up our schedules to get you on because you're a huge fan and we like Doran.
He's my guy. I talked to him.
Yeah, did you? He's cool.
Yeah, well, I see him at work and I see him at basketball, so he's coming on soon. Don't worry, bro.
Prison basketball. Actually, the fans might like a little bit of prison basketball update.
No, well, Uncle Dante's playing with us Sunday night, so there's lots of basketball that's happening now.
Good.
And just Tom doesn't pass the ball.
Tom passes the ball.
No, he doesn't.
I
Okay.
play with Tom. Tom passes. Well, because you can't hit a shot. You got no left.
I have the best left hand in the Windsor Essex area. No, say goodbye to the fans.
Okay, see you, fans.